Welcome, friends, to Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter. We bring you the greatest female voices in the music industry, from the artists, songwriters, and producers, to managers and executives, and all the women who make the music industry what it is today. Thank you for joining us. Welcome, friends, to another episode of Crazy Women Country. I'm Donna.
And I'm Paula. And today we have Sam Ferrara with us. Is that right? I did that.
You got it.
Yes, it was perfect. Yes. I'm sitting there in my head. It's right.
The crowd goes loud.
Yay!
I need to make sure our crowd sounds when I do that.
Yeah, we need little people. Oh. Okay, so the most important question you're ever going to be asked: who is Sam? I'm not saying the surname again because I'll screw it up a second time. We'll just stick with Sam.
Hey, we're honest here, brutally honest.
I love it.
I'm not screwing it up this time. I got it right the first time, so it was cool.
Yes. So, who am I? I'm Sam Ferrara. I'm from Long Island, New York originally. I moved to Nashville about 6.5 years ago to pursue music. I absolutely love country music. I grew up on 90s country, like Shania Twain and Trisha Yearwood and Faith Hill and Reba and all the fun stuff. And I have been doing music since I was a kid. I sang in like school choir, I sang in church choir, and throughout my time growing up, I actually picked up learning how to play the clarinet and saxophone. So I'm also like a woodwind instrumentalist, and I did that through high school. I was classically trained when I went to college, and I went to school for music education. And at the end of my college career, I was like, oh, songwriting is a thing. I didn't know that. And I just started picking up a book and writing down lyrics and all this stuff. And one of my biggest influences is Hunter Hayes, and I actually saw him live, and that just kind of flipped my whole switch on teaching to actually performing. And I always knew growing up I wanted to perform, but I was like, oh, like when I was in college, I was kind of steered in a different way to do education. So I was like, I held off, and I was like, okay, whatever. And I didn't realize it until the end. And I was like, no, I should be performing. This is actually what I should be doing. And I started coming to Nashville back and forth. I met a ton of people who some of them are now like my co-writers and longtime friends, and eventually went to get my master's, moved here. I did teach the first couple of years. I didn't really start performing and really sink my feet in until COVID happened. I literally started 2 months before COVID, and then the whole world shut down. And I was like, great, what am I going to do? So COVID gave me time to really hone songwriting. I got to write with people virtually. I still met up with people in person, and we just kind of like stayed separated. So, and some of those people were people I was already isolated with originally. So I would write with them. I am a part of NSAI here in Nashville. I did like workshop programs with them throughout the summer and in the winter time. And and then September 2020, I just turned to my friend who ended up co-producing my first project. And I was just like, that's it. We have to go in and record, and that's it. And we went in, we recorded. It took a couple years because I had to go back to the drawing board, re-record. And then Piece of Me came out last July, and it's been doing really well. People really like it. It's been really receptive. And that album kind of it's a part of me. It's a part of like my journey from when I started to where I'm currently, just about where I currently was at. And I'm like, a lot has happened since that last song. Like, Get Out of My Town wasn't even supposed to be on the record. It was supposed to be on this next project. And I had a song that just wasn't ready that now is going to be on, that now is ready, but is going to be on some other future project. And Get Out of My Town was in a good spot, and we were just like, you should do it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I never anticipated it, and then it's done really, really well. That's actually one of like my most popular songs that's out. And I'm just thankful that I just took that step to do that. And yeah, and now we're here, and I write every day, like every other day, and I'm out performing, even if it's like solo gigs. I'm also in a rock band, Point Taken. I play tenor sax for them, so I'm still like incorporating, like saxophone is my secondary instrument, so I do incorporate all that, and I incorporate it into my set. I incorporate it into other groups that I play, and then I do pick up gigs every now and again for like some classical stuff. Like I just did a show choir, like a live show choir band gig, and it was really, really cool. So I do things to keep myself busy on top of doing my solo music career.
Perfect.
Here we are.
That sounds crazy. Sounds crazy busy. Crazy busy.
Absolutely. You fit in here perfectly.
Oh, perfect.
So out of this album, and I'm just going to ask in general, because I know they're all your babies. It's your first debut album and all that. Are there any songs right now that you're like, this is my favorite song off of the album right now that I would tell people to go listen to if they wanted to understand who I am as an artist?
Oh my goodness gracious. Wow, that's so hard. Because every song has its own little story to it. And it's like a little piece. And it's crazy. For me, the first song I ever wrote was Whiskey Memory, and that's actually the first song I got to release and all that. That has a special place in my heart because I just happened to look at like one Carrie Underwood lyric, and I was like, oh, what would this be like as a song? And I literally I still have the lyrics, like my original lyrics that I wrote down, because we eventually went back to the drawing board, organized the lyrics, put music to it. My co-writer Peyton, but I wrote all the lyrics. Like I turned the lyric sheet around for Blown Away and just wrote the entire song like down on the back in 30 minutes. So that's really like was technically my first solo write, if you want to say that, just without music. And I'm super proud of that song, and it really has developed to something so out of this league. And it's really cool how I've seen it go from, oh, it's just lyrics on the back of a sheet of paper, to like what it is now. And people, other writers, friends of mine will say like, this is like one of my favorites, or like, it's really cool. And then you watch everybody sing it back to you, and it's so special. Like I had a friend get it tattoo on their body, like I was of the song. And I'm like, wow, what? I was like losing my mind. I was like, no way, like this is not real. So that song is really special to me. And it was cool because Liz Rose got to hear it too. And I got to do a workshop with her back at the end of 2020. And when she heard that, she was like, this is cool. And it has such a catchy vibe. She goes, it'd be cool if you added this. And I literally the next day went into the studio. I said, nope, we're going to add. She told me we need to add this. So I said, I'm going to do it. And I went back and wrote this, like, she's like, a double chorus would be great on this because it's that catchy. And I went back and did a double chorus. I wrote out that second chorus to it, and it caught so well. Like I went and sang it the next night after we recorded it, and people were like, oh man, that was a great addition, whatever you did. And I was like, yes. So I thank Liz Rose. That was amazing. Like it was amazing to work with her and have her hear my music. Like I'm just like, so it's very special. And another one, which actually, I'm sorry, I will talk for days. The other one that actually kind of shocks me, that I would say, okay, if you're somebody that wants to listen to kind of a deep cut, is Kites. Now, I always get people that tell me Kites is my favorite one on the album. And I kind of giggle at them because I'm like, that was the hardest song for me to write in general. It was originally a love song that I had literally did a 180 turnaround. And I remember sitting here in my den, like crying in front of my co-writer. And he's like, "Are you good?" And I'm like, "I just can't get to this place to write this song." And he's like, "We'll get it. Like, you have to do these hard things." And I'm like, and they'll help you grow and it will help us create this song. So I knew, like, after that write, and we kind of like got majority of it done, I was like, this song really isn't done. Like, I just said there's something missing. I took it to an eval, and I had somebody else listen to it, and they said, "What is this song actually about?" And I started like rambling about what it was about, and they go, "That's what we need to hear in this song." So I took my time in like finishing this, and I ended up finishing it myself. And I'm a really big fan of Cam and her song. I think it was Till There's Nothing. Yeah, Till There's Nothing Left came on like 3 times the day I finished this song. And it was like in 3 different times of the day before I went over to Centennial Park to finish this song. And I was like, there's a reason why this song existed and like why it's like coming up as much as it is. So I went back and I like read through the lyrics. I listened to the song again and I said, that's exactly what, and it like was missing that deep cut. And there was something in her song that just kind of clicked it. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I used that to help me finish. And it is one of those, like, it's almost like a realization of like, we're better off where we are. Like, we had our moment in the sun and it's okay. But like, it's better off exactly where we are, where we're on our 2 different paths. And like, the kite symbol represents that, where it's like we're on this path but now we're separated. So it's funny when people are like, that's my favorite, and I'm like, what? I'm like, I get very shocked because that to me is probably the deepest cut, and I get really like with a knife about it, like real deep, and I'm like, I did it for a purpose. And I'm glad people can relate to that one. That really holds a place in my heart, which is cool.
Absolutely. And I love that you just kind of described part of your writing process, because that's one thing. I'm the type that I will listen to music and I will start writing lyrics. And I don't care if I'm listening to Dolly, who I'm listening to. Like, I'm a huge Lori McKenna fan. And then, of course, obviously, Liz Rose, after I discovered her, anything like she's pretty much written. And obviously, the Love Junkies, right? Because how can you not love the 3 of them? They have such great ideas that come out.
They're magical.
That being said, is I could be sitting here listening to something, I write something totally opposite, like whatever, it's just something about the music. It doesn't even like the lyrics, whatever they're singing doesn't matter at that moment, because I'm not really, not that I'm not listening. I'm obviously listening, but I'm not listening to hear, right? So at that point, I'm just kind of letting the melody and all that kind of absorb it. And I'm like, and I'll be like, oh my God, I just like this whole epiphany comes in, and I'll be like, write a whole bunch of stuff down. I'm like, okay, and I'll let it sit and then go back to my normal job. And yeah, come back later and finish up.
And it's so funny, which, like, you can, like, even I write with a bunch of different people, and everybody's writing style is so different. So even though I'm not like somebody who can go in a room every day, or like, there can be a window where you just don't write, like it happens. But I'm always inspired by the people that I write with, and I feel like I'm learning every time I'm in a different writing room, because everybody has a different way of doing what they're doing and writing and how they're getting these ideas. And I know sometimes, like, I'll get like one-off ideas, or I'll just sit and write a chorus. Like during COVID, this song will probably be on the second half of my next big project that I'm working on. And it's called The Longest Road. And I remember the day that I wrote that was one of my friends had passed away that morning. Like, I had found out, and she was a Route 91 survivor. And she, I consider her a hero. She was like a 2-time breast cancer survivor. She saved somebody's life in Route 91, but for the shooting, but she was shot. So she saved somebody's life, but got hurt herself. And I think she, if I'm correct, she had passed away from complications of that. So when I found out that day, I was a miserable mess. And I think in that there was like a week window where I lost 3 different people. But also in the last 6 years I've been here, I've lost very like close family members. during COVID, post COVID, before COVID. So like, you're thinking of these songs and you're like, damn, like you want to write something. But my friend had really sparked something, and I happened to sit down at my desk that like probably around 12 o'clock that day. And I look at a pile of books on my desk, still do. And I look, and the first book that's on top is The Longest Road by Nicholas Sparks. So I'm looking at that, and I said, that's actually a really good title, even though I know what this movie's about. I know what this book's about. I've seen it. So I just wrote, I take like, I have like a couple of sticky notes. So I took a sticky note, and I actually wrote down the entire chorus of the song. And I'm just like, something is going to come of this later. And I just kind of put it away. And then then fast forward to that November of 2020, and my coworker called me, goes, let's write today. So I said, all right. I went to his place, and I grabbed that, and I said, I think we're going to use this today. And I grabbed it and took it, and I said, hey, I wrote this like maybe 6 months ago. I don't know what type of we could do with it. And instantly wrote the song in like an hour and a half. Just based off of that. And we talked about how we lost people in passing and whatnot. And that like the encompass of that entire song is like, just losing people and like death and whatnot. And that's something we all relate to. And it's cool because it has like a very Billy Joel-esque vibe. But we're hoping like when we go to record it in the studio, it's going to be more of like a country with like the touch of that. And of course, being from Long Island, Billy Joel is like, that's a whole thing for us. So, but so like things just come up. Like I remember when I started writing, I was using missals from church. And I was like taking them, I was highlighting like certain passages and like pulling things out and just starting to write like one-liners and stuff like that. Like I'll be sitting somewhere and I hear something, or I'm thinking of something, and I instantly like take my phone and I go into my notes and I just jot it down so fast, because it's like one of those things, or somebody says something and I'm like, wait, you just said something, and I just jot it down and I take it into a write or like whatnot. So it really just sparks at any moment, even if it's not like I'm in every day, or you're not writing every day. Like whenever that spark, it's like you just write it down and then you bring it in, and people like, oh, that's a great idea. So it just happens at whatever moment it happens, which is
totally get that. Because when I'm traveling and stuff, I'll be like driving and I'm like, I can't write this down, so I'm constantly repeating the same like chorus in my head. Like I'm like, or maybe a verse, whatever it is. I'm not sure what it is at that point. Whatever it is, I'm like, I like this. I'm like, I want to write this down. So as soon as we like stop, I'm like, I grab my phone. I'm like, quick, throw it in my phone. Okay, good to go. Now I can forget it a moment. But yeah,
that was. I remember driving to Cincinnati once, and I had this awesome idea, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. And then 5 minutes later, I went to pick up the phone. I did to do like a voice memo.
Mm-hmm.
Gone.
Gotta keep like repeating it. Like yeah, that's the only way, because I've done that so much.
One time, and I was like, oh, this is great, and then it was gone, and I was like, ugh. But I think
meant to be, it'll come back.
That's true.
It'll come back at some point.
Those times, if it is, yeah.
So tell me, who are, obviously you mentioned Miss Liz Rose, but who are some of the women that inspire you?
Oh my goodness. So I do love Liz, and I love Lori McKenna. I'm a very big Love Junkie fan. I'm a big, like I said, I love my 90s country, like Trisha Yearwood, and I recently saw Shania Twain. I'm a big Shania Twain fan. I adore her. She's awesome live. I've seen her probably 2 or 3 times. She's great. She's an entertainer. I'm a big Taylor Swift fan. I'm very influenced by Taylor Swift's songwriting. Carrie Underwood, I adore her. I really love Casey Musgraves. And oh my goodness, there are just so many women. And then when it comes to writers, oh my gosh, Jessie Alexander is like a really amazing songwriter. She's written a bunch with like Dierks Bentley. I think she might have written with Brett Eldridge. and Nicole Gallion. Nicole Gallion is probably one of my favorite female songwriters, other than Liz and Lori. And oh my goodness, everything Nicole has written is probably all of my favorite songs on the entire planet. Like, she's written probably all of my favorite hits ever. And then I am also like inspired by all the females that I get to work with all the time and like sing next to, like Amanda and my friend Katie Fee and Caroline DeLone, like all my buddies, like we all inspire each other, you know, like everybody has some amazing stuff to offer at the table, you know? And I feel like, and I actually, somebody asked me this 2 weeks ago. They're like, how do you feel about this whole female revolution? I said, it's great and they're doing a great job, but it's not enough. I said, there's so many females out there that you're not even listening to. Like, yeah, we have Carly and Lainey and they're amazing, but like, what about Mickey Guyton? What about, you know, some of these other artists that aren't really getting noticed or mentioned? Like Casey was a big thing for a while. Now she's off the map because she sidetracked and did what she wanted to do, and you're not giving her radio time or the time of day. It's crazy. It is so crazy what this industry is doing. And female,
Unfortunately, women are still underplayed and underrepresented everywhere because we're still at under, like, what is it, 13%? Maybe they are 12% now, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not even close to the 90s. We're at 35, almost 40%. I'm like, so, you know, I'm
It's
not sure, like, people, when you said about the female revolution, I'm like, yeah, I think it's just us supporting each other and you know, not being petty enough to say, hey, you know, we have to be pitted against each other, right? So I think that's the difference
and
now.
and you really can't pin everybody against each other because everyone supports each other. So like,
Exactly.
that's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
don't be doing that. It's not cool. So
It's not good. It's not good.
Yeah. So would you like
But
to
they
do
seem to
our
like to see competition, don't they?
I'm
They
sorry.
like to see. They like to see the competition. They like to see people pitted against each other instead of
Yeah.
people supporting each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Meanwhile, you
arm
have
wrestling, maybe? No, I'm kidding.
right.
Winner gets to go. Go. No,
Go.
Right.
just teasing.
Meanwhile, you have all these men in the top 30 on country radio that they all sound the same.
Yeah.
But there's double standards, isn't there? Women have to do
Yes.
one thing. They have to look this way. They have to do this. Where the men seem to have a much wider scope of what they can do, what they can't do, how they can work, and blah 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 blah. There's a, you know what I mean? There's very much double standards between the two.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. It's absolutely
It's crazy.
Mhm.
Absolutely crazy.
Even songwriting. I mean, you look at songwriting and it's like there are so few women on those charts. It's like, you know what? Same thing, because these guys are writing those, and I'm gonna call them as I don't know if you've read what's her name's book, but I'm gonna call them the sippy cup songs of Nashville, which I think that's kind of prevalent, right? So these sippy cup songs, I'm not saying all of them are, not saying all of them, you know what I mean? And I'm a love Luke Combs. I think he's co-written some amazing songs. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
Like, you know, I'm not saying that they're all bad, not at all. They're good to sing along here and there, but they're very the same sound.
They're very
same
cookie cutter.
yeah. Like anyone could have wrote this. I'm pretty sure that's like an AI could have wrote that one. Like, you know, just
For real. And it's so disappointing because that's how everyone sees country music. And then when you get somebody who tries to veer off for 30 seconds, the whole world gets ticked. And it's like, really? Really? Like, people are mad that Beyonce got #1 in for country radio for a song that is probably better than half the songs on country radio right now. And people are like, why is Beyonce #1 on the charts? And I'm like, it took
that's definitely double standard and also still racist. I'm sorry, but there's a lot of racism in it. So
oh, without a doubt. I think that's great. And especially with like, I've seen a lot of TikToks about like the origin of country music. And now I did a thesis involving country music and like particular instruments and all that. Like I'm a bass clarinetist. So for me, like I want to incorporate bass clarinet into country and bluegrass music. That's something I'm very adamant about, and breaking that barrier. That's something so different nobody does, right? And I had to study and go through with my thesis the origin of country music and where did it start? African Americans, spirituals, and folk music. So Beyonce's doing the right thing. And I saw somebody on TikTok explain that. And I said, thank you, because nobody knows that. And if you knew that, you'd understand why this makes sense. So, it's just like people just need to be a little more,
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Anyways.
Anyway,
We'll digress.
we get very deep.
That conversation all day.
Yes. We could
Right.
probably could sit here for hours, I guarantee it, because there's just so much, and yeah. And it really just comes down to who's running the show, and that's it. That's where it comes down to. And
Sadly.
just, unfortunately, you have to be willing to do a lot of compromising. Yeah. So
Yeah, definitely.
So,
Unfortunate.
So, but I think there is place in the industry for everyone. I mean,
I agree.
I do believe that. I do
and
believe that it's broadening.
You are definitely seeing the change compared to where it was maybe like 10 years ago.
Yes.
It's definitely better than where it was 10 years ago. Like, we really don't see much of bro country anymore. We're seeing a bunch of different things now, which is good. There's a little more
the guys stepping up and saying, "Oh, hey, check out this woman that it's going to open for me today," or whatever. Like, they really start supporting good music, not just because it's their buddy doing it. They're like, this woman's good, this person's good, this and they reinforce that. I mean, yeah.
We're getting there. And I think Ashley Cook's a really good example of that. I think she's phenomenal, and she is
absolutely
talented. And she's getting a lot of attention, and I think that's great. She's awesome at what she does.
Absolutely. So would you like to do our 13 crazy questions?
Absolutely.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay, let's do this.
Start.
This is the fun part. Okay, so nice easy one to start with. What's your favorite type of transport?
Ooh. Like when you travel?
Yeah.
All right,
anyway, I like from A to B. What's your favorite way of getting from A to B?
I love to fly. I don't know what it is. I like to fly, and then my car is second, but I have to drive. I cannot be a passenger driver. I can't be a passenger person. It's crazy.
What's one song that every time you entered a room, you wished it would play?
Oh, that's tough. Oh. Huh. Oh my gosh. Like, I have like a rotation. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I know that answer. It could be any song. Oh my gosh. Ooh. Huh.
Oh, we stumped her. You stumped her.
I did.
Wow. There's so many songs. I don't know. I guess I'd say Cruel Summer by Taylor Swift. That's always like my go-to when I get in the car. I turn that on first and I'm like, okay, I'm good. I can listen to everything else. It's the most random thing, but I'm like, oh man, that's hard. I listen to so much music. It's very hard for me to be like, ooh, what's my go-to? It's like, it's usually my car.
Yeah.
If you're having a bad day, what's your feel-good TV show or film?
Friends. I love Friends. Oh my gosh. It's the only thing I can turn on. I'm like, life is good.
That is awesome. I love that.
Oh. Tell us something on your bucket list.
My bucket list. I would love to go to Australia. Australia is on my bucket list. I think it's beautiful there. My brother's been. I've got to travel to Europe. I've done some crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. But I would love to go to Australia, and that's on my to-do. That and Hawaii are on my bucket list. Like, I would love to go to both locations. So beautiful.
Don't forget us crazy women country. You need us with you to make it even more fun.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Travel buddies will be great. Okay, if you could write with anyone, Dead or alive? Who would you write with?
Ooh. Well, oh my gosh, this is so hard. Well, I definitely have said my number one favorite writer on the planet is Nicole Gallion, and I would love to write with her. I think she's a genius in everything she does.
Perfect.
So I'd love to write with her.
That'd be awesome.
She's the dream.
Well, the universe heard it, so maybe it'll happen soon.
We'll put
Manifest it. Manifest it. I did one time almost write with Carly Pierce. There's a whole story behind that, but that was years ago before she got signed, and I've known her for a bit, but it was not meant to be. It was very unfortunate, but she's super cool. She's super sweet.
If you ever wrote a book, what genre would it be?
Oh, I think it would be. How would you like call it a tell-all? Like, I guess, like, is that like a documentary? Like,
Kind of like a
documentaries, like
something. I don't know.
A memoir.
A memoir.
I guess
Maybe,
they call
yeah.
that
It's a tell-all memoir. Yeah.
a tell-all memoir. I don't know. That's the type of book I would write. I feel like people have so many questions to ask, and I would answer them all in a book like that. Some people might be very mad about what
It
they
could be
read
called
about.
The Book of Answers.
That is
There
true.
you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay. If your life was a reality show, what would it be called?
Oh my God, my life is a reality show. Please.
I love that.
Oh my God, what would it be called? You're just watching it right now. This is chapter. This
We're
is
just a part of it now.
32. Season 32 is almost over, guys. Like, I guess you'd call it the Sam Ferrara show because it's like things happen all the time. You'd be surprised. This last year has been insane. Like, I literally, all my friends, we like sit down and we just all look at each other and we laugh. We're like, was this last year real? Like, we don't even know. So probably everything that's happened in the last year would absolutely, I can't even talk about it. Every time I think about it, I'm like, oh my God. Like, it all belongs on a TV show. Like, there's no joke here.
That's fun.
Okay, so what's your game plan for the zombie apocalypse?
Oh my God. What is my plan for the zombie apocalypse? Well, I would just hang in a bomb shelter and then, oh my gosh, what is the name of that movie? Is it oh man. There's like a movie. It's like is it like the Ted ends the world or some, I don't remember, but they like kill all the zombies or whatever. I would reenact that, but like I'd probably just hang a bomb shelter.
We need to find this film now to see what it's all about.
Yeah.
And I know. That's why I'm like trying to think of it. When I do, I have to like send you a message. But I've seen the movie. I've seen a couple of movies like that. But like I would definitely hang in a bomb shelter and then come out with laser guns or like lightsabers and kill everything. That would be my way to.
I love the Star Wars thing. That'd be quite cool. I love it.
Not looking like Darth Vader.
Absolutely.
Ooh, you have to have the voice. Yeah. Oh, I love it. Okay. What emoji do you use the most?
I use the laughing, crying face a lot. That's the one I use. I also use the tongue sticking out, the emoji.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, that gave me a good one.
Okay. Now we need to get serious on this one. Sam, if I called you up and said, I need to hide a dead body, do you know a good hiding place?
I'd find one for you.
Oh,
I'd find one for you. I got you. I would find one. I probably could think of a good spot. There's like a space underneath my deck. Maybe that's where I'd put it.
There you go. Sorted.
Oh yes, I could probably find a dead body.
Okay.
I take the beat, it's fine.
Okay, perfect. I'll just call you.
Yeah, it'd be very cool. That'd be cool. If you owned a bar, call it.
If I owned a bar,
What would you call it?
ooh, I don't know. Man, I think of all these artists that have bars on Broadway, and I'm like, if I would have a bar. They talked about this one time. But we were talking because we're like, how many more artists are going to have bars on Broadway? But, what would I call this bar? I don't know. I don't have an answer yet. I don't have an answer.
Okay.
You'll have to, next time you interview me, you'll have to ask that again. Maybe I'll have
to question again, see if we can get an answer for that one. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ooh. I can't think of
We may have to start doing like 10-second like TikTok interviews or Instagram or whatever. Something. I say TikTok, but who knows if TikTok they want to ban it or not. I'm like, I don't care, whatever you want to do with it. It doesn't matter. There's enough social media people. We could create a whole new TikTok here in America, just saying.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, you'll have to come back to me on that one. Next time you guys talk to me, you'll have to ask me that one again, because maybe I'll have it then.
Okay.
That sounds like a plan.
Good plan.
I'm going to think about that one all day now.
So she's gonna be messaging us in the middle of the night, be like, "Hey, by the way," I'll be like, "Ding, I'm sleeping." I know that's nice. Okay.
Yeah, and we'll turn it off.
I'm like, 5 a.m. I'm like, "Are you awake?" Because here's what. No.
Yeah.
No. So tell us what's going on for the rest of this year. Now you have some new music expected to come out later this year.
So I'm hoping, I actually just talked to my producer on Saturday, so I'm hoping to get back into the studio either next month or May to finish the remaining couple of songs that will be on this next project. The first single is actually done. It's in the works of being mastered as we speak. And that should be, and I will start to probably release stuff in like late summer, early fall. And I'm like shopping around for video product, like to do music videos. So I've never done a music video. Well, I did with the band I'm in, but I've never done like a solo artist music video before. Excuse me. So I'm going to be looking to do that and just getting right now, that's what I'm doing. I'm getting all my content ready for that. I'm hoping to do a small little tour in the fall. Where I can go back to Long Island and do some shows. I know I have a lot of people asking me to come do like a band show in Long Island, so I hope I get to do that. And then eventually lean towards releasing this first part of my project in early 2025. So I'm very excited. And the first song that's coming off of it it's a very, very big fan favorite, and I sing it out a lot, and y'all are in for a treat. Like, it's so good. I cannot wait for you guys to hear it.
Awesome. We're looking forward to that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's going to be great.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you on today, and you're welcome back anytime.
Ladies, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. And I can't wait to come back. We're going to have some fun. We'll bring Amanda back. It'll be a good time.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Oh, well, thank you. And make sure you check out the links in the description below. We'll have all the links to Sam's music and website and all that good stuff. And then we'll see you next time here in Crazy Women Country, everyone. Have a great day.
Adios.
If you enjoyed today's episode of Crazy Women Country, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Be sure to click the subscribe button for new interviews weekly. And thank you, friends, for joining us today on Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter.